So what is hell? It is many different things to many different people, not only limited to your afterlife of choice. Now for me, hell is this guy right here. Well, technology in general, but more specifically, this computer. I don't know how many times I've had to deal with something that may or may not be my own fault, but that doesn't make a difference. That computer is my hell, and today we're gonna fix it, starting with a tiny little SSD swap from here to here, and I guess we'll just keep going from there. Come on, follow me. Shit. And the SSD swap should be very easy. There's an issue with that. That issue comes in where it's, I think I keep fucking things up so much that my install gets a little funky after enough time. What is the solution to this? The solution to this is making this guy into sort of a server, a headless server, and then use the virtualization that is allowed within Linux, natively, mostly, to make everything a VM instead of having a host machine that runs VMs. I'm going to have a host machine that runs more than one VM at once, and embedded VMs. Is this a fantastic solution? It might be. Is it the only one? Definitely not. A better solution could simply be to use a different distro than Arch, which I am going to be doing, but to not do it in the capacity that I'm going to do it. But this will allow more flexibility, and that is exactly why I am doing it this way instead of another way. With that being said, here's the new SSD. This is going to go into this guy, and this guy's is going to go into this guy's. It's gonna be a long day. A long day. Oh! Oh! Forgot how heavy that thing is. And now we start. So the steps for this are pretty simple. Steps are, I take this, I rip everything out of it, and I mean everything, and I get to that SSD. Or I might not have to rip everything out of it. This guy. You look in here and you see this right here. Pretty sure this is the shroud to where my SSD is. If that is the case, I don't have to worry about, like, doing all that much else besides ripping that guy out and taking the SSD out, throwing the new SSD in. I would continue to show you like this, but this is going to become a shit show real quick. So instead, you guys get to be right there. Whoa! Now, this probably isn't the most efficient nor smartest way to do something like this. Actually, probably be best if I just took one of my GPUs out. Yeah, in fact. GPU out. So now that we've got this out, I'm gonna put this guy in here, then this guy in the laptop. Once I figure out how to open this, not the brightest tool in the shed. And again, it sheds like dark and without lighting, besides the natural light. This could just be a tangent, but I could be onto something. Not sure which one yet, to tell the truth. And now it's time to move on to the laptop. Now I'm thinking about it now. This is a hell of a lot of work for probably not that big of a payoff. But if you see a video or channel the way I do, it's to document very specific points in time that you want to share with everyone. Little projects, passion projects. It'll be cool. It'll be fun, he thought. So far, it's been a whole shitload of work. And while I am certainly excited about the end product, usually that's my problem. I get so hyper-focused on the end that I forget that, number one, there's work in between, and number two, to actually enjoy what's going on in the interim. But this will be over in a second. And then the fun part starts. The actual working inside of the software. At least I think that's the fun part. Don't get me wrong, I love hardware, but if I've shown anything, it's that I have a great interest and enjoyment of the software side of things. And with that done, let's get back to the other room. Ow. And now it's time for the first boot of this guy. Let's see what happens. Looking good so far. Alright, that's a good sign. Now let me throw in my password. Okay. Okay, cool. So it's not going to recognize those disks. Oh shit. Alright gamers, I figured it out. I just had to mess around with Xorg and that was a fun old time, but yeah. Step 1. Finished. And now I just have to wait. And then we hop in to what you call it. What do I have to hop into? Virtualization. Yep, I have to hop into virtualization. So, as you can see, I have everything done. And it's all coming off of this guy. That screen, that screen, that screen, which isn't showing anything right now, but they're all running off of the same computer. I don't know how much I showed you guys of what was going on, and while today might be a new day because it was an all-day project, I think it was worth it. The face of that person is the face of a liar. Now, why would I say that? That is because this entire computer setup thing has truly
become what I like to call computer hell. Now, I have a lot of things prepared and finished, but this single operating system switch, well, sort of switch, just distro hop, doesn't matter, has become a lot bigger of a project than I initially thought because it showed me a lot of issues that I had with my setup, things that I could not have expected, and now I sort of just have to deal with the fallout of that. Now, if we hop over here, you can actually see this is the server itself. Well, not really the server, the computer. Well, it technically is a server, and then the VM, not Windows 10, the VM, this Manjaro VM, is the one that I am using day to day, and that's my daily driver. This one works great. However, I could show you, but I'm not actually going to do it because it's sort of a waste of time. This Windows 10 VM that was already set up before no longer works. Well, it does work. It launches, it boots, that's great. This guy right here, the 6900 XT, that does not work. Why does that not work? I don't know. So that's going to be changed to a 3060 Ti while I get the 6900 XT checked. Hey, if it gets fixed, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, I don't really know why or what happened. I have a guess. I'm not entirely sure. Now, that sounds like an easy fix, right? But because I'm doing that, I thought it would be a great idea to, let's do a case switch. Well, if I'm going to do a case switch and my computer is now a headless server that's just running VMs, then why not put it in a rack-mounted case? If I'm doing a rack-mounted case, do you see where this is going?
So yes, you want to see what true insanity looks like? Well, come on a trip with me and I'll show you. And it all starts with this. Now, this entire process is going to take, well, I want to say, sort of forever. So, this guy right here, yeah, you can see it. That guy right there is my main computer, the one I've been working with. You guys saw. And I decided, well, I'm already on a trek towards insanity. Why don't I continue that? So, join me and see what actual hell looks like. Rack mounting and getting a rack for that computer, and eventually networking. So I'm gonna be nice and honest. This is like day 2, day 3, I don't really know. But if your room ever starts to look like mine does, then there's an issue. Like this is way too much. And it's just gonna get worse till Monday. It's currently Thursday, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. So with that, this is good. That frees up 2 USB ports, along with making the computer boot without me plugging into external USBs, which is positive. The only thing about this now is that oddity that I brought up, that this right here is just a little too tall. Not to say I can't put the top on, but there is a bulge. Now that's not a gigantic issue, especially when it ain't going to be seen that much, but I mean a little bit more planning by my part would have been better. I have no goddamn clue what's in this. I think it's my case, although I'm actually unsure about that, to tell the truth. Either way, we are about to find out. Doesn't it suck when you keep getting your rails before you get everything else? So there's a difference between the two cases I got. Case for my main PC is a 4U. The case for what I initially wanted to be a server or a NAS, or just like a Windows install that I could do network drives on, which later became Valorant PC because I could play Valorant in a VM. This is a 3U case. I'm gonna start off with saying one thing. That is, learn from my mistakes. As you can see here, this card goes above this little bracket by, I want to say, a ½ inch or so. Now, here is where this becomes an issue. You see that? See that? Yeah. Right here is where that becomes an issue, because this is the top of the case. There is not a ½ inch clearance. So I'm sort of stuck here. It's either I finally upgrade the 960 by buying another graphics card again, even though I already bought one, and by doing that I would then have a lower profile one, which I mean could work, but that would add another I don't know how much to how much I've already spent, which is I don't know how much, and I really don't want to think about it. Or I just stick with the case I love, but it can't fit in the rack. I'll get back to you on this one. I have to think about it. Hey, welcome back. So I know this is a mess, but that's okay. I got the rack today, so we're going to set that up. The last part will be... Yeah, so the last part will be the graphics card for the other computer, the low profile one, and that'll come in tomorrow. So I want to get the rack set up pretty much complete, and then I'll just throw that guy in and the project will be done. So gonna start building that now. Enjoy, I guess. I've lost track of the days at this point, but we're still going, so enjoy. My God. The inside of this case is absolute chaos. But hey, if it works, and that's all that matters. Now I have that on film to show where I put my keys. But with that, the rack is done. Finally. If you ask me, it doesn't look too bad. Take up a lot of room right there, a ton. But that means this project is finally complete.